Hey Kerbal Space fans, how y'all doing today? And welcome to yet another Kerbal Space Program video. Today I'm doing something a little different. It's kind of a parenthesis, it's not really a continuation of the Interplanetary. And yet again it kind of is. I'll explain to you on the way. Let's go ahead and put this thing in space. Okay, so you can see here I have a very, very large rocket. But those of you who kind of have been playing this for a long time will see what's going on here. This is a different take on the Interplanetary SSTO. Yes, believe it or not, this is an SSTO. So the way that I've designed this is as follows. This whole part here gets us into space, and this part is the actual interplanetary lander. If you can see here, it's got a lot of fuel just on 2 nukes, and of course my little raw was here, satellites mounted in the top, so I can, prove to the universe that I went to where I went. So let's keep climbing. Let's try to not exceed the 200. Wow, I didn't have SAS on this thing. Is that stable? Awesome. Anyway, let's keep climbing. So the reason why I call this a parentheses is because it's not really going to have much to do with the other interplanetary series. I just kind of wanted to show you guys this other take on interplanetary SSTOs. I got the idea, I was remembering a video I saw ages ago. I don't remember who was the dude that did it. It was while I was looking up entries into some of the Reddit challenges. There was a really interesting Reddit challenge called I forgot my wallet or something like that, or just the wallet challenge. The idea was that supposedly Bill would go to the moon. He would forget his wallet there, so he'd have to make an SSTO that could fly to the moon, do the primary mission, come back to Kerbal. That's where he'd remember that he forgot his wallet, and then you'd fly back to the moon again, land at the exact same spot, and pick up the dude's wallet and then come back. Of course, that required massive air hogging, and it wasn't a very easy mission at all. Now, the guy who I saw do it, and again I wish I remembered what his name was, what he did was he made a 2-part SSTO that would undock from the jet engines and the wings and the intakes, and he had just a tiny little lander that would fly from Kerbal to the moon, land, come back, dock, and then land again. So, sort of based on that, I decided to make something like this. This is technically an SSTO because it's not going to really jettison anything. And with the landing legs and the parachutes, after we get back to from wherever we are, and anybody who's done interplanetary transfers who sees this tank knows that this is a crap ton of fuel. You can go almost anywhere with that much fuel and a couple of atomic engines, which is what I have here. So I, of course, overburned, but let's see if this will let me circularize it somewhat easily. Alright, as usual, I'm being kind of impatient with my circularization burn. 9097 is fine. So this thing, of course, is going to need power because it has a lot of control wheels. That has the big ones right here because I need to steer this whole thing. So let's whip those bad boys out. Alright, so it's got batteries, it's got solar panels. Let's set up for a circularization burn. It says it's going to be 11 seconds. We have lights too. So I have red on one side and blue on the other so I can tell what I'm aiming at when I'm landing on it. Yeah, that's why. It's not because it looks fun. So this is probably one of the more massive SSTOs I've ever made. I mean, this can barely be called an SSTO, but it is, regardless of what anybody else may tell you. Okay, let's do it from there. All time acceleration, and of course I went too far. And there we are. So it's going to be an ugly orbit, but that should be orbit. Oh, of course it is. There we go. So the idea behind this is, you know, I don't really mess with that too much. That's more than enough to do a deorbit. And then we decouple. Of course, this thing has RCS, or else I'd never get it docked again. And here we have a capable of landing on its own with full fuel. Whoops. I keep forgetting to shut these down before launch. I could redock and get my fuel back from what's left in the tank. It's probably enough. These should still be full. Okay. And yeah, if you refilled this, you could probably take it anywhere you wanted, landed it, you know, done your thing. I of course have the nuke set to the staging control so I can control it easier, up, down, and whatnot. So yeah, if you guys are having trouble making an SSTO that's one piece and does all that stuff by itself, you can do something like this. Hope that helps out. Now let's not really mess with that too much anymore. Let's go to the other part of my SSTO program, which is the regular interplanetary winged air hogging single nuke SSTO that you guys saw me fly back in the other videos. As you may have noticed, I'm no longer on the moon. I tried to shoot an episode of me coming back from the moon, but it was pretty terrible. I'll explain to you what happened. First of all, I botched the aero braking return, so I went around like 4 times. Second, since I was coming in from really high angle and really fast, I botched the re-entry and landed somewhere by like the Cruzan Peninsula beacon, and it would have been about a 27-minute episode of me failing miserably at bringing that thing back from the moon in any efficient or fun manner. So I scrubbed that episode and the hell with it. Now, what I have done in the meantime is I've done this. This is what I'll be taking to Duna. It's the exact same SSTO with 2 little additions. The aforementioned raw was here satellites. These are basically just a couple of solar panels, a probe, and a battery with some antennas, but just for show. One thing that is useful about these, you might want to do these when you're building your own interplanetary SSTOs, is to save weight. I only have a couple of solar panels, and you never know what angle they're going to be in. So sometimes you're time accelerating, and then you realize that you're out of power. So what I do with these is, now that I'm in space, I don't need these to move anymore. See how those are frozen now, and these aren't? So I freeze these, and then I pull out these solar panels without any danger of breaking them off or whatnot. And now I know that I have power from all angles. Even down below, there'll be some still in the sun. Other than that, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys today. My big, huge new type of SSTO, as well as this SSTO, which is now ready to go. So I'm not going to really call this episode 5. It's going to be more like episode 4.5, because I didn't actually further that mission any on camera. Next week, what I will be doing is I will be doing my transfer to Duna in this one, right from where it is now. And I will be doing my aero braking maneuver and orbit around Duna, as well as dropping my satellite number 1 in Duna orbit. So for now, this is Ra reminding you guys to fly safe, and thank you very much for watching.